Alrighty, what's going on, everybody? Sorry about the delay. We have a bit of tech difficulties, and that is unfortunate because it is round one of the IHSA 4A playoffs for the Wheaton Academy Warriors, where Phoenix Military Firebirds will be coming to Performance Trust Field for a big-time game. As we've already started, the Firebirds have already gotten a first down. I'm alongside the one, the only Daniel Smith, back up in the booth for the first time since the first game this season.
I couldn't say no to some playoff Friday Night Lights football. So good to be back up in the booth with you.
As Firebirds locked up there on the run game, we didn't really have time to do an intro because of the tech difficulties, but we got some game changes for you that we'll bring up as we move along tonight. First off, we got to talk about the playoff history, Mr. Smith. We got some playoff history that's happened here at Performance Trust Field in the last 3 years.
Yeah, we have. Warrior football been building for these last 3 years. So last year we came in with an 8-2 record, lost in the first round to a Catholic school, Providence Academy Catholic League school that just was too much for us to handle. 2 years ago, we beat Cole City and lost to Joliet Catholic in the second round. And so tonight we have a chance to potentially win and go to a second-round playoff game. Waz never won a second-round playoff game in our school history in football, so that is the goal this year, and that mission starts tonight.
That is for sure, as that was Brendan Shields brought down there, the running back for the Firebirds. Next thing we got to talk about is the weather. It is a cold night tonight. It is rainy. The field is definitely soaked. It rained for a solid hour and a half before this one's underway, so it's going to be a slip and slide out there. Going to be a lot of running from both teams. So they handed off on the run game once again. He will be brought down. Maybe a 2-yard gain, I believe, there. That was Willie Smith cutting in from the right side there. Looked almost like a jet sweep action, but not a lot of motion in the backfield there from the Firebirds, as it will be a 4th and 7 situation now, as they're going to be forced to kick early on in this first drive.
Yeah, to your point, Jacob, it doesn't really feel like a playoff atmosphere out here because the rain is keeping people away. Maybe that boosts the live stream numbers, I don't know. But the Warrior defense comes through with a big-time stop to start off the game, which is exactly what we want, and we will get a chance to be the first team to put some points on the board.
I'm not going to complain if more people are watching us on the live stream, that is for sure. Gino Spinelli is going to run up the left side. He's got a little bit of space. He is still running, still on his feet, cuts to the middle. He's still on his feet, able to break a couple tackles before he falls, and still on his feet. He's going to be brought down right around the 15-yard line. Nicely done, Gino Spinelli.
Not even brought down yet, kept the feet churning. The minute he caught that, we could tell he had room to operate. He gives the Warriors excellent field position as we start our first possession in the red zone. Nice job, special teams.
It looks like off the bat, especially with that first play, it looks like the Warriors are going to have a lot of speed up against the Firebirds tonight, just moving a little bit quicker off the rip. See if the Firebirds can pick up their pace a little bit as the game moves on.
Yeah, Brett Casper loves to pass, but tonight it'll probably be more of the short passing game and a lot of rushing to make up for this wet turf.
There's Brandon Keebles in the backfield with him tonight. That's a short pass to Mitch Carrick. He's going to get his first reception of the game. He's able to break a tackle.
Still on his feet.
Just short of the end zone as he came in just inches. I thought he had that one.
Okay, that was a trick of the light because from up here, he looked well in, but great extra effort from him. Drug down right at the 1. Warriors knocking on the door early. Who do you think's going to punch it in here, Jacob? Make your call.
I think Brett Casper might take this one himself, if I'm being honest. I think the Warriors have a little bit of a friendly fire on that play, to be honest. It looked like Mitch Carrick was all the way through, and then Colinati Zabaya got a little tripped up and fell into Mitch Carrick.
Well, we got an I formation, Casper up the gut.
Brett Casper will get the Warriors on the board to make it 6-0. That is how we like to start playoff football this year, that is for sure.
Was that the Warriors breaking out a little tush push? Kind of like the Philadelphia Eagles to punch that one home? Speaking of Casper, talk about him, Jacob.
Dude, Brett Casper, one of my favorite players on this team to watch this year. What I think is most impressive about him, outside of being the conference offensive player of the year, he was not a quarterback before this year. He was a wide receiver. And outside of being a quarterback, he's also our best cornerback as well with 7 interceptions this year. But he's about 1,600 passing yards this year, as That was a
That was a BB.
low line drive, as we like to say in baseball.
Good thing that car turned in the parking lot a second before.
Good thing there was a tree there to play safety against the cars, but it is 7-0 to say the least. But yeah, Brett Casper, Offensive Player of the Year in the inaugural Chicago Christian Conference for the Warriors this year, and Ethan Head also Special Teams Player of the Year.
That's really cool, right? First year in the CCC, and the Warriors bring home 2 prestigious awards, Conference Offensive Player of the Year and Special Teams. Ethan Head ranked in the top 10 in the nation in Special Teams. And then Casper, like you said, he does so much for this team on and off the field. Really cool to see him get recognized. And as someone who's taught him in math the last 2 years, he also works really hard in the classroom too.
That is for sure. And he also loves the game of football for it being his first year. First time ever kicking the football was this summer, and he's proven to be insane as he averages 64 yards per kickoff for the Warriors, which is pretty impressive, as this one's going to fly right to the goal line, but the Redbirds are going to take this one, and he's up the wing, and he is loose. As the last man standing is Ethan Head. Nicely done, as Ethan Head able to get a tackle for himself.
There we go. Special Teams Player of the Year getting another stat in the stat book. And I know we're laughing, but special teams, the last time I was up here in the booth, I believe it was a kickoff return that really, if you talk to the players, kind of cost us that game against Chicago Hope. We've got to clean that up as we continue to hopefully advance through the playoffs.
Take notes if you're watching this. That was Willie Smith getting the return there for the Firebirds. He's got some wheels as he was able to break through a couple tackles and stay on his feet. So I'd watch that number on your screen all night, number 7.
Warriors in their traditional 4-3.
As they do hand it off once more. And almost looked like a bit of holding there, but no call, as once again I believe that was Brendan Shields.
Brendan Shields, 5'10", 230, built like a fullback. It's going to take more than one maroon jersey to bring him down tonight.
Yeah, he definitely has some size on him, that's for sure. Almost the build of a Jeremy Johannick, one might say, but he can run a little bit. He's got some good speed. It would be interesting to see what he could do if he got open and got himself a little bit of space.
I don't think we want to see that. Once again, they're in the I formation. Looks like the quarterback might be audibling or getting an audible from the coach before he returns under center.
Firebirds have not passed yet once in this first couple drives. As Gino Spinelli, nicely done there, able to knock him down.
Textbook tackle by Gino. Take out the legs of a bigger player. Let your teammates come and finish it up. That's the pursuit drill that they do every day at practice, showing up on the field here early.
Gino Spinelli, 5'10", I believe about 160. He hits hard for a small guy. He can really rock the players. We were talking about last week. He went up against big Christian Bentaker, 6'5", from Marion Central Catholic, and absolutely leveled him a couple of times.
Yeah, I remember just even his freshman year. He's fearless. Gino is fearless.
As they hand it off once again, there is Willie Smith, but he is knocked down. Warriors all over that. They're expecting the run game now. And for the Firebirds, they're really going to have to start changing it up because the Warriors are anticipating that all night long.
Yeah, that was Ethan Brunner. Just absolutely laid him out on that play. He's feeling that one, and on comes the punt team.
As it will be the Warriors' ball once again. Gino Spinelli with a big-time return for them last time. We'll see if he can get it up and underway once again. Not a bad kick, though, if I do say, from number 10, Mekhi Bailey, last time on the punt.
Always keep an eye out when the conditions are wet to see a potential bad snap. Almost a block.
Warriors almost got a hand on that one as that punt under pressure ends up going out of bounds.
Yeah, he did everything he could to get that one out before it was blocked. Warriors will take over around midfield.
Only took 2 Warriors plays last time to get us on the board. We'll see. We got a little more work to do this time. Another game we're going to keep an eye on all night long is the Richmond-Burton versus St. Viator game. The winner of this game will play the winner of those 2 teams. Hopefully we'll have another Warrior playoff game, a chance to compete for the most playoff wins we've had in school history. Hopefully we get that opportunity, but we'll see what happens. This is Brett Casper going to pass this off to Brandon Keebles. He's still on his feet and moving up the right side. He's able to break through a couple more tackles. He's through. He's at the 10 now and brought down. Brandon Keebles with a big-time run, able to stay on his feet, and surprisingly, even with the wet turf, able to make a couple nice moves to avoid some tackles.
Just had incredible patience on that run. Had the initial burst to get through the line of scrimmage, and then just shifted behind his blockers, was 2 steps ahead of the defenders. Keebles was playing chess on that run, and the defenders were playing checkers. He almost took that to the house.
What a big-time run there by Brandon Keebles as he was interrupting my playoff bracket spiel there, but not a bad way to do so, that is for sure. As they're going to hand it off to Grayson Kelly, who's going to bulldoze his way into the end zone for his 4th touchdown on the season. He's going to make it 13-0 Warriors.
13-0 within 5 minutes. Jacob, we talked before the game. Were the Warriors going to potentially let this weather and the darkness kind of affect them? They were favorites coming in, and they are wasting no time. They are up 14-0 right out of the gate.
Hopefully Ethan Head will have a bit of a cleaner kick here on the extra point, or last time it was.
Yeah, let's see.
It went through the uprights. However, it was a bit of a low line drive, kind of turned over itself.
We got some student section showing up out here. Lots of blankets, but.
As that one is right through the middle on the Hawthorne lane, one might say, but it is 14-0 regardless. Once again, if you guys are watching, make sure you drop a chat in the box. Let us know who you're supporting, what you think of the live stream. Maybe give us some bracket knowledge if you know the score of the Richmond Burton game versus St. Viator. That'd be great information for us up here in the booth. As last time we were on the live stream against Marion Central Catholic, we had a full-on conversation about the conference championship with someone in the chat box. So if you got something to say, definitely drop it down below and let us know who you're rooting for.
Yeah, don't be shy. I see Rob Reno, Visionary Family Ministries, in there saying hello. It's good vibes here as the rain looks like it's quit, and I am hoping that it doesn't come back.
People are starting to pile in, that's for sure. People are starting to show up, as you can't really see them on that side of the screen, because on the other side, that is Phoenix's fan section, and they've got quite a big drive coming out here. So there's probably going to be a lot of Phoenix fans watching the live stream tonight. At least we hope so. As Ethan Head will go back to work, as that one's going in the end zone once again, but Willie Smith will run it right up the middle, and he is free and up the left side. Ethan Head almost able to knock him down, as he will run it up and out of bounds. Nicely done.
So once again, Jacob, our special teams, kick coverage team, struggling to bring him down early. The rule in high school is that if a player catches the kick in the end zone, then it should technically be blown dead and be a touchback. That looked awfully close from this angle here, but you got to continue to play until the whistle is blown. And once again, big kickoff return for the Firebirds.
As we have a question in the chat box, who is number 44? I assume you mean 44 from Phoenix. That is Caleb Abney. He's a tight end. Let's hope we can see him get some action tonight as well.
Yeah, Firebirds so far been lining up in the I formation, really kind of a ground and pound style, not really spreading things out. I mean, you can see on your screen here in a second, there's everyone packed into the box, only one lone wide receiver right. No disguise as to what they're probably going to do here. Jet sweep.
As they hand it off once again. And he's able to get a couple yards before he's knocked out of plays. Once again, that was Brendan Shields. Seems like they're going to run that play quite a bit tonight. Still haven't passed, and this is their 3rd drive so far. But they have good field position after a big return there by Willie Smith.
Yeah, you don't want to turn the ball over early, so rather than take risks and put the ball in the air when you're already knocking on the red zone door, might as well just see if you can get one first down on the ground, and you're right there. 2nd and about 6.
2nd and 6 situation now for the Firebirds. As it's only a 14-point game right now, of course, the Warriors are scoring rather quickly, and the defense is going to have to make some stops here and turn their game around. But so far, the Firebirds still have good field position and a chance to get back on the board here. That was a big-time hit there by Mitch Carrick.
Yeah, it was. And the Firebirds, I think, have realized that their best opportunity is to have long drives, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 play drives, to keep our potent offense off the field. It's kind of like a team when they play the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like the way to beat them, right, is to not let Patrick Mahomes get his hands on the ball. So Phoenix's run attack, if they can stack first downs on top of each other, could be something that lulls our offense to sleep. We'll see.
For sure, and you definitely want to cool off the arm of Brett Casper. Make sure he doesn't use that for a long time, as he hasn't used that so far in this game, especially with it being wet and cold out. I'm sure his accuracy is going to be a little worse, as it would be for any quarterback playing out here tonight.
Exactly.
He's stuffed, as that was Brett Dieter, Brandon Keebles, Mitch Carrick, and Gino Spinelli all over him.
Yeah, the O-line got no push there. Running back just ran smack into a wall of bodies, not going anywhere. They'll bring up Yeah, this will be fourth and short. Yeah, fourth and short. They're going to go for it.
It would be interesting to see the play call here. I'm sure they're going to run another jet sweep off the side and hand it off to Brendan Shields. At least that's my guess as to what play call they'll draw up.
If you're right, I'll call you Tony Romo. Let's see. I want to see big Robert Grant and big Tip Zabaya over the nose of our defense make a big play. And, yeah, their coaching staff's going to talk it over. This is a pretty big play for this game. Even though it's early, this first down could really make a big difference for the Firebirds.
They are in field goal territory. Obviously, with it being cold out, makes that a little bit more difficult. But their kicker so far has shown that he's got an okay boot on him, and looks like he can kick the ball a decent way. So I wouldn't be shocked if they ended up going for 3 here, depending on if their kicker can make that field goal regularly. But
yeah, it's really tough. Ball's at the 25, so you stack on about 5 and then add 10 for the end zone, and so that would be about a 40-yarder. Not everybody has an Ethan Head back there that can make those in his sleep.
Last time you were up in the booth, Ethan had a nearly 55-yard field goal attempt. Extra point attempt.
Which is so weird to even say, right?
And we ended up falling short in that game, 30-29.
I just couldn't come back the week after that. I was too heartsick.
As they are going to go for it. Brandon Shields in motion. They hand it off, and he's going to be short, I believe.
Yeah, he's definitely short.
And it's going to be the Warriors' ball.
Yeah, this offense is not very unpredictable. We've only been watching 2 drives now, and I think both you and I knew what was coming. So if we know it, then I guarantee you that both Justin Swider and Senior Swider, who scout with the best of them. I mean, I see the team watching film in the room up the hall from me multiple times a week. They're ready to go.
They're ready to go, and I'm sure they have a game plan all drawn up for it. Warriors offense will get back to work as they have a little more yardage to cover. As I said that last time, and they proved me wrong almost instantly, and it only took 2 plays once again. We'll see if the Warriors can score a touchdown in 2 plays.
Yeah, don't start another monologue because you're about to get right here.
And Gino Spinelli is going to go off the left side now, as he's going to be brought down at the 35-yard line. Good tackle there, as I thought I might have jinxed it in the best way possible.
Yeah, number 8, Tyler Phillips, nice tackle. Gino had space. There's no need for us really to throw the ball deep when we're getting it to our playmakers out on the edge and letting them do the rest.
If you guys just joined us, Warriors lead 14-0. Couple early touchdowns from Grayson Kelly and Brett Casper, as this is the first round of the 4A playoffs where the Wheat Academy Warriors are hosting. As Grayson Kelly, he's got some speed. He's wrapped up and brought down just shy of the 50-yard line. Good run there from Grayson Kelly. Grayson Kelly is a guy who didn't get any playing time last year at the varsity level, but he stepped in a big way. He's one of their main running backs. He's about 280 rushing yards this year.
Yeah, Grayson Kelly it's like the smash and dash. It's like whereas Keebles is a little more speed, Grayson Kelly can really bring the smash up the gut, brings a little more size to the running back position. Strong kid, just a sophomore, I believe. Is that correct?
Yep, that is correct. Interesting enough, though, with Grayson Kelly having that mass behind him and him being a very strong guy, Brett Casper's going to unleash it downfield to Zach Morvek, and it is just over his head. Incomplete pass. Zach Morvek was wide open.
Yeah, that was a pretty ball, but it was just a foot or two out of his way. I don't think Zach had a shot at that one, but I like that play call. Warriors trying to take a shot after they've been lulled to sleep.
As that was Casper's first throw of the night, I should say, after 3 drives. So definitely he's shaking off the dust a little bit. Hasn't thrown a ball since warmups.
Yeah. We were talking about Casper earlier, first year playing quarterback. I'm most impressed with his 25 touchdowns, only 2 interception ratio. And that's phenomenal for a guy who, and it's not that we don't pass the ball a lot. We do look to spread and throw, and Casper's decision-making has been really strong this year.
Especially with our wide receivers being such a wide spread, as he's going to run it up the right side, and he is free and loose. He might take this one to the end zone, and he will. It will be a 20-0 lead. Good wheels there from Brett Casper, right on cue.
You don't expect that little extra burst that he's got. It's like, oh, he's the quarterback. Somebody's going to catch up. Well, ladies and gentlemen, he's been a wide receiver the last 3 years, and you saw the minute that hole opened up, a little extra jet from Mr. Casper taking it to the house.
There's a reason he had a 68-yard rushing touchdown in the first week this season. It's because he's got wheels, and he is very shifty. He's not afraid to run the ball and break a couple tackles on the way.
Absolutely not.
As Ethan Head will put this one right through the uprights, but there was a flag on the field.
We'll take a look for the signal. A couple Maroon guys sticking behind like we might have to re-kick, but now they jog off, so it's probably going to be on the defense.
Safe to assume that, I would say. Nicely done by Brett Casper, though. But, yeah, he's been a wide receiver the last couple of years, and interesting enough, like you said, only thrown 2 interceptions all season. And what's interesting about that is normally you see a lot more interceptions when the wide receiver crew is a lot more widespread. We open up the ball to them and to all of our different wide receivers a lot this season. So it's shocking to say that Brett Casper only has thrown 2 interceptions. And on the flip side, he's a cornerback, and he's picked off 7 himself.
It's got to feel good, right? You're a baseball player, so you understand the analogy of when a pitcher is batting. It's just like if you can squeak a hit on the other team's pitcher, it's the ultimate just power move. So you know when Brett steals an interception from the opposing QB, he's got to be feeling good.
And it's almost every game that Brett Casper has an interception. It's at a key moment every time. Last game, Marion Central only down 7 points. Brett Casper in the end zone above big Christian Bentaker, Clemson commit, and is able to bring it down. So in every big game, Brett Casper's name's all over the score sheet for the Warriors.
Yeah, Casper's a gamer. I mean, this WA squad has gamers. And we've got everybody back, mostly. I want to shout out John Hubricks, who's just a little banged up this week and was not able to suit up. We're really hoping he gets some good reports so that he can be back out for this playoff run. But, I mean, as you look up and down this list, we got a lot of guys who play both ways. We got a lot of guys who are really looking to put their stamp on the end of this season.
We always joke about Ethan Head putting one through the uprights. This one legitimately has a shot to go through the uprights. As he says it, and it's good, ladies and gentlemen. It's not worth the points, but I'm sure it is in his heart. Ethan Head kicks a near 55-yard field goal that does not count.
Man, if only you could get that much of a running start on normal kicks. That was legitimately a 55-yarder. That could have been good from 65.
Easily could have been good from 65. That was way up there. As I'm sure Ethan Head, as soon as this game's over, is going to be looking back at the live stream saying that one looked good. As the Warriors defense will go back to work, the Firebirds going to try to get something going late here in the first quarter. We will see what they draw up, as their 2 main plays are running it right up the gut, and that jet sweep play that they've been running all night long. See if they even dare to pass one time.
Plays blown dead here.
Back on the field. Delay of game on the Firebirds.
Delay a game.
Definitely not the way you want to start this drive, but they've got work to do anyway. Might as well earn the full football field at this point.
Yeah, what's tough? I mean, I'm a Tennessee Titans fan. We're a run-heavy offense with Derrick Henry, obviously. When you're a team that's a run-heavy offense and you find yourself down 3 scores in the first quarter, it can be a motivation killer because you're not really known for scoring fast. So let's see if Phoenix Military sticks with their guns or if they try to open it up.
And Phoenix definitely is not known for the splash play. They make their way up the field slowly but surely as there's another flag on the field.
Another delay of game. So they are having trouble getting those plays in. I don't know if there's a miscommunication from the line judge to the head coach. They're having a discussion over there right now. But that's going to bring up 1st and 20.
And they're also in safety territory now.
Yeah, let's give some shout out to the D-line. We got seniors on either end. Ethan Brunner, of course, John Hubricks is out. Who's in the starting lineup over there on the other end? We got Ethan Brunner on one side.
Colinati Zabaya on the other.
I see Colinati. I see Robert Grant.
I believe that's Weston Wagner out there as well.
Weston Wagner.
Has different formation drawn up.
Here's the first pass of the game.
And it was to Willie Smith as that one was just over top. Looked like he had a beat on it, but just slipped out of his hand at the last second.
Yeah, if he had caught that, I don't think he would have had much space to operate. Our safety, Brett Dieter, was right there timing it up.
But that is encouraging to see them passing the ball now, maybe drawing up something different, trying to keep the Warriors on their toes, as that was Eduardo Gutierrez rolling out to the right side.
Yeah, when your offensive line is having trouble blocking a defense, often what they do is they counter with a little screen pass or a short dump to the flat to almost make the defense's aggression work against them. They almost had that there. Let's see what they do here.
Looks like another jet sweep
Reverse.
play. Reverse, and Willie Smith is up the left side, and he is moving. Zach Morvik's going to be able to bring him down at the 40-yard line, but that was a big-time gain there from the Phoenix Military Academy.
Yeah, that was a great play call. They lulled us to sleep with the consistent formation of the jet sweep, but I think we need to obviously keep an eye on Willie Smith. He seems to be their speedster. Nice job by him, and was that Casper who chased him down?
I believe that was Zach Morvik, number 11.
Morvik.
Which is surprising with Willie Smith having so much speed and us seeing that a couple times early on in this game that they haven't gone to him as much as I would have imagined.
Well, we'll see if that changes because he's had both of their kick returns and then their biggest play there, a gain of about 30.
Not all the way up the field, though. Very strange.
There must have been some penalty because he got much farther than that.
Could have been an after-the-play penalty, I suppose, would be the only reason that it wouldn't have gotten called back.
Yeah, and I'm taking a look because they hadn't moved the chains yet, so now the chain crew is moving, the chain gang. Yeah, look at this. The Firebirds spreading it out. We got a 3 wide receiver set from them. First time we've seen that this game.
Would be interesting to see if Gutierrez would roll out once again and draw up that same play to Willie Smith. As another jet sweep play, and Ethan Brunner and Brett Dieter able to lock Brendan Shields up.
Yeah, we've watched a lot of WA football this year, and we know that teams that try to run it between the tackles against us have not had a lot of success. So this is actually a great matchup for the Warriors, that this is the style of Chicago Military Academy.
Less than a minute left here to play in the first quarter, as it is 21-0 Wheaton Academy. 2nd and 15 situation now. They hand it off to Willie Smith. And Ethan Brunner all over him, and he will bring him down well behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, that was a big play. Ethan Brunner is just licking his chops. He is in the backfield immediately over and over and over again. If they try to run it to the left side of the defense, they're running into a wall. Shout out to the Wheaton Academy cheerleaders out here. 45 degrees, rainy. They work so hard. They practice pretty much more than any other team because they go all 3 seasons. Seen a lot of improvement. Really excited for that program to continue to grow.
as we got basketball season coming up in the next couple of weeks. Thanksgiving tournament right around the corners. That's the end of the first quarter. But yeah, basketball team's getting ready to go, and you as the head coach are definitely excited for that.
Of course. If you've never seen a basketball game before in the Warrior Dome, Monday, November 20th, Bartlett High School against Wheaton Academy will be a great atmosphere to see one.
And I can tell you personally, as I was on the mic for opening night last year, opening night is a little bit different for basketball.
Yeah, you got a lot of jitters, but you never expect the game to end 98-93 like it did last year. I guarantee you that won't happen again, but you never know. Come on out.
I wouldn't guarantee it. You just never know what could happen. Is that when, I believe, went to double OT?
Double OT.
Against?
Yeah, we were talking earlier. It's interesting because WAF football has never won 2 playoff games, so therefore there's never been a conflict with football players not being able to start the basketball season.
Exactly.
But there are 3 or 4 names that I won't name, but that are out there that could potentially miss the first week or 2 of basketball. It's kind of weird. It's a good problem to have.
It's a good
for the
problem to
football
have.
team, but not necessarily for the basketball coach.
For sure, and then you have to get that player caught up to speed in practice and in games because they
Exactly.
can't play games right off the bat without even practicing with the team. So definitely poses a bit of conflict for you on your end, but also a good problem to have if you're the Wheaton Academy football team playing deeper into playoffs than they have all year.
No doubt. Nobody will be cheering harder for WAF football this week and next week than I will. And we got to get that 3rd playoff game so you can be back on the mic.
That would be spectacular. Assuming that St. Viator would win that game, then the Warriors would be away and then hopefully home the next game.
Yeah, once again, if anybody watching at home could Google St. Viator versus Richmond Burton, we'd love to get a score update.
As there's a pass this time, and Brett Casper misread that one just a tiny bit. Looked like he was going to be able to pick that one off and decided to react in instead of going back over his shoulder. Either way, incomplete pass there from Eduardo Gutierrez.
But that by far the most air yards underneath the ball, as the Firebirds are definitely making some adjustments here. Respect.
It does look like Eduardo Gutierrez is definitely capable of throwing the long ball after that one, as that was about a 30-yard toss.
Yeah, we saw him throw him before the game, and he had some nice accuracy on the 10-yard, 15-yard throws. That one there looked solid, so we'll see how deep their playbook goes.
As low snap, and he is still on his feet somehow, some way, as takes the Warriors a bit of time to knock him down, but it will be the Warriors' ball, and the offense will go back to work.
Yeah, I said it earlier. When it's wet out here, that long snap is already difficult on the best of conditions. And right there, you saw it just slipped out of his hand. Then when it hits the wet turf, then when you pick it up, it's slippery. And, yeah, I thought he was going to try to squeak a little quick punt in there, but your nerves are high and there's guys flying all by you. It's difficult.
Especially when one of those guys is big, tall Ethan Brunner chasing after you. Definitely going to have to scramble and get out of the way as fast as you can.
It's just tough when I see a guy with such long blonde hair in the front row at Chapel, and then you realize he's just a menace on the
As
football
Gino
field.
Spinelli's up the right side, he's going to take this one to the crib to make it 27-0. Gino Spinelli with a big-time run there on the jet sweep.
A house call for Gino Spinelli, and WAS starts the second quarter with a touchdown right out of the gate.
Big-time run there for Gino Spinelli. We shouted him out earlier as he was an all-conference player for the Warriors this
Indeed,
year.
deserved it. Well deserved.
As he is the leading scorer for the Warriors this year. I believe that's his 11th touchdown of the season. As heads up in the parking lot. Rumor has it Ethan Head hit a police car last week, not once but twice, and he's going to add that one to his repertoire, as that was right at the cop car once again.
Somebody almost caught it, though, or somebody did catch it. Yeah, I mean, to score 11 touchdowns in a season where you play less than 10 games, averaging over a touchdown a game, that's awesome for Gino. And Gino is just a sophomore, or is he a junior this year?
He is a junior this year.
Junior this year, so he'll be back next year.
Will be interesting to see how the Warriors utilize him in future seasons. Obviously a two-way player. Plays cornerback, a little bit of safety as well, and wide receiver. And he's gotten a couple reps at running back, which I'm sure that will be Brandon Keebles, Emery Eckert, and Grayson Kelly, as all 3 running backs for the Warriors will be back next year.
Yeah, I can tell you how they'll use Gino. Give him the rock.
Exactly. Let him run.
Yeah, so 28 zip here. I believe the rule is if you go up by 40 points, it becomes a running clock situation. We might see some starters take a rest here after the first half ends. We might see them play till we get to 40, and then we'll see some substitution. But it's always great. Personally, I love seeing some guys who don't get a lot of varsity time kind of see the field in a playoff game. It's always a great morale booster.
As that was a false start against the Warriors. Not something you see on the kickoff very often. Ethan Head will be pushed back 5 yards to kick this one. As my goodness, that wind is chilly, ladies and gentlemen. We're up here in the booth. It's pretty warm and cozy up here, but that wind coming right through the windows, that is cold. I will not lie.
I don't know about warm and cozy. I am from Tennessee, so maybe I'm not as built diff as you are, but we're surviving up here.
I lived in the Dominican Republic for 3 years, and that, I can tell you that was a lot warmer.
True.
Yes, Willie Smith will return this one. And big time hit there by Emery Eckert. Oh my goodness, coming out of nowhere. Finally, someone puts a stop to Willie Smith.
That is a special teams play that you live for. Emery just said, "Not again, Mr. Smith," and came out like a cannonball shot out of a cannon and just laid him out. That was textbook.
My favorite part about that he was Emery Eckert and Willie Smith were both in midair at the same time because he hit him so hard. But a big-time hit there by Emery Eckert. He said, "Not once more." Able to put a stop to this Phoenix team.
Yeah, and his team hyped him up. Special teams plays are really momentum builders, so let's see if the defense responds. I want to see Robert Grant get some push at the middle. Look at Big 55.
And
on cue,
Willie Smith. Couple yard gain there. He was able to roll over a couple Warriors defenders as Willie Smith took the snap that time. It was not Gutierrez back there as he just took it himself and ran it right up the middle.
Yeah, Robert Grant shed off a block, made the tackle. Nicely done, gain of 2 or 3. And so a little direct snap, you said, to the running back here?
It was, right to Willie Smith.
Might as well get it into the hands of your playmaker quickly. See if we see any more Wildcat.
So they hand it off once again. Big time tackle there. I believe it was a loss of 1 yard as Gino Spinelli able to bring down Brendan Shields. Currently, I'm going to try to find a score of that St. Viator Richmond Burton game.
Yeah, for sure. That brings up 3rd and long. Are they going to try to squeak out another double reverse here? We'll see. Warriors just staying disciplined. They're not over pursuing. They got to really stay home to protect the edges. Nothing over the top deep. Make them throw it in front of you here.
3rd and 8 situation here as there's 2 flags on the field. And this play is going to be stopped as there wasn't much yardage gained. St. Viator versus Richmond Burton score update 0-0 at the end of the 2nd quarter. A very close game on our hands.
0-0 at half. Wow.
0-0 at half between Richmond Burton and St. Viator.
A little different game here.
I can imagine with it probably raining where they're at too, it's probably a slip and slide out there. Both teams are going to have a hard time getting their offense going with both big teams like that. Definitely probably a fun game to watch.
So there was a flag on that last play. Couldn't tell what the call was, but I think it was on the Firebirds because it's going to bring up 4th and long.
As I believe a different or a timeout called here by Justin Swider. As you said last time you were on the live stream, they're not going to take these timeouts home with them on the bus. Might as well use them while you got them.
Might as well. Because, I mean, let's be real. Even though we're up 28-0, let me put my coaching hat on here. Like, the coaches, I guarantee you, are absolutely locked in. We're not just coaching for this game. We're coaching for next game. These are teachable moments. Every single play is a teachable moment. And so these coaching staff are pouring into each and every one of these guys.
As much as it is still a game, it's also a practice at the same time. We got to get better. Got to keep learning, as I'm sure the Warriors are going to have a long meeting this weekend about special teams and defense and offense at the same time, and especially about locking down the kick return from the other team.
Yeah, and we're just talking about storylines. We're not trying to point out any flaws. We've had such a phenomenal season, but even last week we gave up an onside kick. It's just like those can be game changers, so it's something to keep an eye on. And
there are definitely plays or pivotal plays that happen that we're able to get away with right now, but at the same time, you don't want that to happen in future playoff games in a pivotal moment. So Warriors are definitely going to try to lock up and clean up their game as they keep moving forward, but they played a good game so far, and that one is blocked by, I believe, Kolanati Zabaya. Nice block there from the Warriors. As it was Kolanati Zabaya as he's screaming and yelling as he's coming off the field.
Was that blocked or was that punted into his face? Because I could not tell if he got a hand up. But either way, a big game changer here as the Warriors are knocking on the door. When you are on punt coverage team, you don't get a lot of chances to score. I was surprised I didn't see more maroon jerseys trying to scoop that thing up and take it to the house.
So Warriors offense will get ready to go once again. Going to try to get that running clock before halftime.
We got Ben DeHaan wide right over here. I want to see a back shoulder fade.
Me and Ben DeHaan in stats class, as it looks like they're going to go to Ben DeHaan, and he's in the end zone for a touchdown. As no, incomplete, as that one did squeak out of his hand. No good.
Ben, I was trying to make you look good.
So unfortunate.
You were trying to make me look good. There it was, though. I mean, Ben is a physical presence out there. It's a mismatch on who. I mean, no DB has an advantage as long as Casper puts it in a spot where only Ben can see it, can get to it.
For sure. And I'm not to say that we weren't paying attention in stats class today. However, Ben DeHaan did. Me and him were both predicting a touchdown for him tonight. So unfortunate that he couldn't hang on to that one.
Well, if you're going to be distracted in stats, as long as you're making predictions, I hope you're using data to do it. So
exactly.
I'm good with that.
As this one's handed off to Emery Eckert, as he'll get maybe a yard or two there. It'll be a third down for the Warriors. Looked like he was going to be able to squeak through a couple more Phoenix players, but unable to do so.
Yeah, we're in that weird spot, right, where to get a first down, we would literally need to get to the 1 yard line. And so it might as well be 3rd and goal. I know it says 3rd and 7, but it might as well be 3rd and goal. And I can guarantee you, well, I won't say that. I was going to say we wouldn't kick a field goal. Maybe you know better than me. You've been to more games. Do we take the field goal here, or do you think this is 4-down territory?
The only reason I would see us going for the field goal is to get Ethan Head an extra field goal rep.
Yeah.
As Deontay Giles going to get an opportunity there as he's still on his feet in the end zone. Deontay Giles able to take a big hit. Looked like he snapped his ankle in 3 different ways and stayed on his feet.
Incredible balance by Giles. I mean, you saw he tried to get arm tackled 2-3 different times, and he just shrugged them off, stayed up on his feet, and slithered into the end zone. Nice job.
After seeing that play by Deontay Giles, I want to see Deontay Giles do a little limbo contest because he was so far back over his ankles and still able to stand right back up and do his job.
Seriously, he wanted that end zone.
As Ethan Head, enough said.
Enough said.
Just left. He did not make that one. I believe that was just outside of the uprights.
I mean, I'm shocked. I wasn't even looking.
I'm shocked. It's so rare that happens. I wasn't even paying attention, but apparently no good on that attempt. Maybe it was the cop car not being happy with him after denting his car a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, we're acting like, I mean, I know he is automatic, but it takes, I mean, it's wet out there. You got to have a good hold. Taking a second to pause and wave to the Regan family who's out. Coming to a rainy game when you have 4 kids. Incredible devotion from the WA Teacher of the Year 2 years ago, Luke Regan.
Great science teacher. Personally, never had him, but I have the pleasure of PTAing for him this semester in physics class. Definitely a fun one. As Ethan had after missing that extra point attempt, I am almost certain that he's going to unleash the beast on this one.
Yeah, I think you and I were a little shook there.
As
Oh, we're
that
squibbing.
kick squibbed a little bit and picked up once again there. And once again, that was Emery Eckert with another big hit.
He's the
on
first
Brendan
down
Shields.
the field. I got to give him props. I mean, he is the first down the field, and he is not shying away from contact. He is hunting it out. Awesome job from Emery. And then I actually like the Warriors trying that, because if Ethan Head's booming kicks seem to almost be working against us a little bit, well, let's try to mix in a little variety and see if we can make our coverage more efficient.
Would be interesting to hear the update on that Viator Richmond Burton game.
Yeah, I just heard that it's halftime and it's still 0-0. Shout out to Jake Lindstead, teacher and coach at the grammar school.
As that one's dropped, and I believe that is the Warriors ball.
Waiting for the call. Referees have, there it is, Warrior ball.
Warrior ball, as that one was just miscommunicated there between the QB and the running back. Bit of a drop on the handoff, and the Warriors were able to pick it up almost immediately.
Yeah, things are getting out of control here for the Firebirds. It's always tough because it's such a great achievement to make the playoffs. We were just talking before the broadcast. There are schools in the area who haven't been to the playoffs in close to 40 years. And so making the playoffs is a big achievement. But then you often can realize quickly, as the Warriors have as well in previous years, that you can be outmatched in game one.
For sure. As Nathan Downey going to get a couple reps at QB, as Emery Eckert brought down on that one. But yeah, shout out East Aurora. Hasn't been to the playoffs since 1984.
89.
89.
84.
84. Yeah, I was right. 84.
Wow.
Which is about 3 times my age almost, or two times my age, which is crazy. Crazy to imagine that in 3 of what could have been 3 of my lifetimes, East Aurora has not played in a high school playoff football game.
And it sounds like their playoff run is going to be a short one.
It does sound like that, as I believe they are down by more than 50 points, unfortunately. So hopefully the drought doesn't begin again next year, but they're at least they made it this year, and that's definitely a win for them, as that play is going to be stopped dead.
And you know Deontay Giles is sad because that was going to be another touchdown for number 9. And we are 1 touchdown away from being up 40-0, which is running clock territory.
That's Coach Johannick talking to the Warrior offense there, trying to get them in the right headspace.
Yeah, it's Coach Rex standing right in front of them. I mean, it takes an army to coach a football team, because a football team is an
Absolutely.
army. So many players.
Yeah, shout out to our coaching staff. They've done a great job this year, not only getting players ready on the field, but they also do a great job disciplining these guys off the field as well, as they all work very hard in the classroom and take their work very seriously.
Indeed, the football team is always looking for ways to serve.
Grayson Kelly in motion as he's running it up. As my apologies, that is Charlie Canaris, as he's going to run that one right in the end zone for his first touchdown of the night.
Shout out to Charlie Canaris. He hasn't been getting much action at safety tonight, but he did get it. He did get to the end zone there. Was that Charlie Canaris?
That was
Just
Charlie
confirming?
Canaris.
Yeah.
Had to confirm it. Haven't seen his number on the field in a minute. Had to make sure. I was number 6 in maroon. Charlie Canaris, nicely done. He had some good speed running in the end zone there.
Yeah, he did. Nice little cutback. He was patient. Found his way.
And that will start the running clock, as it is a 40-point lead now. 41-point lead, I should say.
If there's ever a game to be over quickly, it's a little chilly tonight, but then I looked at the weather on my phone for next week, and we might have a snowy high school playoff game.
Well, you guys might have a snowy high school playoff game, as I will be in Missouri with my dad fishing in a tournament next weekend. So hopefully the Warriors can bring back a win, and hopefully I can bring back a fishing tournament trophy as well.
Hey, I enjoy seafood, so I don't know if you catch any delicious fish, just throw them on ice, bring them on back.
As we have a question in the chat box, if Wild plays the winner of Vider's game. Yep, the winner of the Richmond-Burton St. Vider game would potentially play the winner of the Phoenix versus Wheaton Academy game, which, as it's looking, looks like Warriors going to come out on top. But never say never. Phoenix might stage a comeback. Never know.
I don't know about that. But it's going to be great to see what we just saw. For example, Charlie Canaris hasn't scored a lot this season. We're going to be able to watch some guys
Another squib kick there.
have significant minutes. And, yeah, I mean, that –
as Willie Smith able to break through a couple of tackles, and he is still on his feet. Nicely done by Willie Smith. Got to give him props.
for sure, he's battling out there. And so that's back-to-back squibs, so that's strategic. So I wonder what the talk is on the sideline to get the Warriors special teams a chance to potentially mix in a rotation of squibs / deep bombs to keep the other team honest.
Also in the prep for potential usage of those plays in the coming weeks. Hopefully in the many coming weeks, if you're a Wheaton Academy Warrior fan.
Yeah, and tonight's poor weather is partially why we're doing it, because I think if the weather was clear, I think Ethan could get some touchbacks more consistently. I see Deontay Giles is checked in at the defensive back position. Moravec still in the safety slot. And that's a tackle in the backfield by number 62.
As I believe that's
Hampton Grenowitz.
Hampton.
Nice tackle in the backfield from Hampton there. I see some other substitutions have been made. I see Danny Garcia, number 50, lined up. Let's see who else. Let's give some shout-outs.
Dallas Jackson, number 19's out there.
Johnston. Dallas Johnston.
Johnston.
Who else we got? And then I see, no, that's Gino on the far left.
As Willie Smith trying to cut through the middle. And Colinati Zabaya says, not today.
You love when you see Colinati make a play and he just runs over to the sideline and get everybody hyped. He's pumped.
As I guess that was a turnover there. I'm not sure if the ball popped out, but the Warriors offense is going to get ready to go. Didn't exactly see what happened, but either way, Warriors ball. As Nathan Downey's going to try to take this one up the side himself, but gets a couple yards gained.
Yeah, wise decision by the WA coaching staff to, pull some of these guys. You never want to play scared of an injury, but if you have a game secured like this, it's just not smart to keep some of your main playmakers out there, right? Up 41-0, clock going to run straight through the rest of the way. Let's just get some guys some experience. So who is back there under center now, Jacob?
As that is Nathan Downey, and I believe Grayson Kelly's lined up next to him. Nathan Downey, he's getting his work in as he's under pressure, and he's able to scramble for a couple yards now. He's still on his feet trying to make his way to the end zone as he's going to fall just short of it, but nicely done there by Nathan Downey. That's definitely a promising thing to see, as he's probably your future at quarterback next year.
Yeah, no, that was good. He dropped back. He stayed in the pocket. He didn't have anything. He saw some space, and he was very patient with it. Make sure he secured the ball when he went down so as to not risk a turnover. And we're going to have to pause a second as there seems to be an injury on the field for the Firebirds.
Definitely don't want to see that. We hope he's all right. It's our trainer, Brody, getting his work out there. As also,
I dare you to try to spell Brody's last name.
I can't even say Brody's last name, let alone spell it.
Sorry, Brody. You need to give these guys some lessons.
Yeah, he's just Trainer Brody to me and a lot of the rest of the WAC community.
Brody Shimoleski.
I'm still not going to try it as it's just Trainer Brody the trainer, as Dr. Josh from Olympia also out there as well. I can say his last name. His last name's Janssen. I could spell it for you too if you wanted.
That's easier. That's a little easier.
But he is out there as well, as both of them work over at Olympia Chiropractic, and they're helping.
Yeah, shout out to Olympia. Yeah, Performance Trust Field. Not the same atmosphere as we're used to.
Definitely not.
I mean, last time I was in the booth, the sun didn't set until around 8 p.m., so we still had some light. It was about 70 degrees and sunny, and the Maroon Platoon was packed out. Now for our first playoff game, this rainy, gloomy weather is just not ideal.
It's been about a month since you've been back up here with me.
Yeah, I apologize.
As Grayson Kelly's going to be able to run this one into the end zone to make it 47-0.
Yeah, Grayson Kelly, good for him. He works hard, right up the gut, nice hole created. He knew the minute he received the handoff that he was taking that one in for 6.
As Ethan Head will go back to work. And his kick is right through the uprights.
Yeah, I was watching that one closer. I couldn't believe the last one missed.
Definitely not.
So just got word from our assistant athletic director, Drew Sesnoff, that the running clock will kick in the second half if the lead remains 40+.
I see. Misled by all my football friends saying that there could have been a running clock in the first half, depending on the score. Unbelievable.
Well, as a guy who teaches a lot of them, directions to different things is not their strong suit.
As it's 48-0 now, the Warriors lead with about 5 minutes left here in the first half before we're able to take a break and grab some food. But Ethan Head will go back to work, as I'm sure he will put this one on the ground once again, as he has on the last 2 kickoffs.
Yeah, let's see. That's kind of an interesting storyline. I know we're kind of fishing because it's such a blowout, but special teams in high school, Coach Swider told me once, it's 33% of the game, and that can win you a game and lose you a game. So we've experimented with a couple squib kicks. Let's see if this one's a boomer or if he puts it on the deck again.
As he puts it on the deck once more. So that one fumbled a little bit.
And see, it gives us a little bit of a chance to kind of get downfield. I don't know why the booming kick is not working for us, but I like the adjustment. It wouldn't make sense to continue doing it if it was going to potentially hurt us, right?
For sure. That's for sure. And you're definitely a man of percentages, as you teach the one, the only statistics class here at Wheaton Academy. Definitely been a fun class to take. I can say personally I've enjoyed it. Definitely learned a lot about that side of the math world, and also potentially the sports world as well, as statistics used all the time, all over sports.
I mean, it's crazy. You're seeing guys get senior level positions in franchises. Like the Vikings just hired a new CEO, and he's a stats and data guy from Stanford. It's crazy. Data analytics taking over the sports world.
As
That's
Willie Smith going to try to run it up the right side once again. Ben DeHaan getting some defensive action. Haven't seen that from him this year, but in my household, I believe you could make the case that in my household the most quoted movie is Moneyball, which is a baseball movie all about statistics.
Hey, you had me at Brad Pitt. You had me at Brad Pitt.
It's just a phenomenal movie. What can I say? But definitely, probably one of the most quoted movies between me and my dad. There's just a lot of different methods using that movie to track statistics, and how, especially in a sport like baseball where it's all numbers for the most part, and how building a team around that can definitely change. So definitely a world of sports that makes me a little bit intrigued. As that one's tossed downfield by Willie Smith and dropped. Unfortunate. That is a gut punch there.
Yeah, that one is. I mean, Willie Smith is doing a phenomenal job. He's leaving it all out there. That was a perfect strike in stride. The receiver just couldn't come down with it. It's wet out here. That was a tough one to watch.
As an absolute dagger there for Phoenix. Unfortunate as Willie Smith, not a quarterback, but he was able to unleash the gun downfield there, and a great toss right on the money.
Yeah, that was a great throw. What year is Willie Smith? He's only a junior, so I wonder if he could potentially be in line for their quarterback position next year, because oftentimes if you're in a program that is struggling to score offensively, you just have to put the ball in the hands of your best player. And I think that's kind of what they've shifted to here.
For sure.
On the play. Fourth down and 14 for the Firebirds.
As it is a 4th down now, 4th and 12 situation, as they will go out to kick once again, as Charlie Canaris will return for the Warriors.
Oh, good for Charlie. Last 2 kicks have been blocked or either fumbled, so let's keep an eye on that. I mean, this is where, yeah, like I told you, if you're on the punt coverage line, you're potentially thinking this could be my moment of fame.
As that kick just missed a little bit, Grayson Kelly trying to catch up to that one as that one's going to roll out of bounds. Such a strange play. Can't say I've ever seen that one. I mean, it's a first for everything this year, but my goodness, never seen that before.
Yeah, I mean, punting is tough. You're on an island back there. You've got 11 guys just trying to destroy you. I think he got a little nervous, and that one went off the side of his foot.
Punting is tough. I mean, from a guy whose dad was an All-American in soccer, I can't even kick a soccer ball that's still on the ground, let alone drop kick a football out of the air, and that one just didn't go his way.
Foot-eye coordination is not your strong suit.
It's not my strong suit.
That's why you're a baseball player.
I'm a little bit better at throwing a 12-ounce ball with 108 seams, as Emery Eckert's going to walk into the touchdown as well. Nicely done by Emery Eckert. That was a big-time run, as it's 54-0 now, Warriors lead.
Yeah, Emery is having a night, putting himself a nice game together, both on special teams. He's going to probably play the entire second half as the safety position, and then he's now found the end zone. Good for him.
As that one was a little closer to the post as well, but 55-0.
Yeah, this is a mismatch. I mean, Wheaton Academy's only loss last time I was in the booth with you by 1 point. We were down a couple players, either injury or suspension. Otherwise, we would have had, in my opinion, an undefeated season. We are a very strong team. We're balanced. I'm actually curious just what you might say as someone who is even more involved with the team than I am. What would you say are our 2 biggest strengths this season, and what are potentially a weakness or 2 that we might have?
And for sure, and playing off the fact that we only lost at 1 point against Chicago Hope, they're a 1A powerhouse this year. They could make a deep run into the playoffs.
Oh, 100%.
Being a very strong team, especially in a smaller class like 1A. But definitely two strengths, I would say, is definitely our passing game. In years prior where we had quarterbacks like David Dorn and Belai Brummel, we had one good receiver that we went to consistently, and other that we ran the ball. Where this year we have 4 or 5 good wide receivers that we can pass the ball off of to.
Yep.
And Brett Casper, there's a reason he's the Chicago Christian Conference Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah.
As Ethan Head's going to put this one on the ground once again. That one's
touched.
touched.
It's been touched.
And Willie Smith is just going to have to dive on this one at the 5-yard line. But I would say definitely passing, and I would say our D-line is pretty dang strong this year with guys like John Hubricks, even though he's not playing tonight, guys like Kolinati Zabaya, we got Jeremy Johannick. I would say our defense is pretty strong. Definitely a good safety crew. Got a lot of good cornerbacks as well. I'd say our defense and our passing game are 2 strongest. But, I mean, you could make the case that our running game's strong, too. We just have a very well-rounded team this year.
Yeah, we are well-rounded. We have more depth than I think we've had in years past. But at the same time, like, we're still humble and we're realistic that we're not a football powerhouse. We have to improve. We have to show that we can win a game on a bigger stage than we have in the past. And so I think this is a great tune-up game for next week. I am really excited to see how we show up next week.
as he is still on his feet. Big time run there. Nicely done there by Brendan Shields once again.
Because we talked about playoff history, just to set the stage for next week even. I mean, last season we were 8-2. Providence was 6-4, I believe, or 5-4. But they had a much tougher schedule, and they beat us in a very close game. So as this year, we have a better record. Not sure who will play next week. But honestly, you got to throw the records out the window in the playoffs, especially because of all the conferences and the new realignments.
For sure.
You just got to line up against the guys who are across from you and give it your best shot.
Yeah, and also you got to remember the Warriors' best season record-wise was last year in 8-2, and this year we end up being what was our final 8-1, I believe, this year. So our most successful season as a program. So we're
Correct.
definitely on the upward trend. But we gotta prove ourselves in the playoffs, which we haven't been able to do. We've never won a second-round game, and definitely something that we're looking to do this year.
That's the goal.
Hopefully trying to change the culture a little bit.
100%. And, Jacob, that was the goal back in June. That's not a new goal. That's always been this coaching staff's goal and these players' goal, was to make some noise in the playoffs.
Brendan Shields, the ball carrier, once again getting a couple yards.
First down for the Firebirds. Ball carrier for 36, Brendan Shields.
As he will roll out to the right side, find Willie Smith.
Smith's doing it all tonight.
As he'll be out of bounds on that one, I believe.
He's really giving it his best shot. That was a nice catch. Was that the first completion for
As
the
it
Firebirds?
won't end up being complete. I believe he was out of bounds.
Really?
When he caught it, yeah, that one's going to be put back to the original side.
Yeah, you're right.
Pass is incomplete.
Unfortunate turn of events there for the Firebirds.
It almost looks like there might be a penalty. They're backing it up. Oh, no, that was just the
Incomplete.
chains. They thought the same thing. All right. Well, 1 minute left. They're going to have to throw. Don't have a lot of time to work with.
And it's not like Eduardo Gutierrez cannot unleash the gun a little bit. He's shown that he can throw it downfield a little bit. He's got a bit of an arm behind him, but that is Willie Smith lined up back there once again as he's going to try to roll out. And Emery Eckert trying to get all over him. He's still on his feet somehow, some way. As you can see, a lot of the subs getting out there for the first time in a couple games. Definitely trying to make their mark, improve themselves, and keep working. As for some of these guys, it might be some of their last reps of the year.
Exactly. And it's always great to get out there. You want to prove to the coaches that you've been putting in work. You want to show improvement, have a positive note headed into next season, especially if you're a young guy. So these guys, I mean, the guys who are out there right now, I guarantee you, are going to still be going hard. You can't really play such a physical game, and you don't really ever let off the gas. That's what people don't understand. You can get hurt that way. You just necessarily put in guys who are not as experienced, and you let them play as hard as they can.
For sure, as it's 20 seconds left here in the half.
Here comes that reverse.
That reverse once again.
We're not falling for it twice, Jacob.
Cademan Bauer with a nice tackle there for the Warriors.
That's going to take us into the half.
If you guys are just joining us, that's unfortunate because you missed 55 points from the Warriors in the first half. As we're going to take a break, there's a lot to recap. I'm not sure we could do it in just a couple of sentences. It might take us full 5 minutes just to recap all the touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going to have to talk to Coach Melody, the cheerleading coach. I need our cheerleaders doing at least 55 push-ups at halftime. We got to warm up somehow.
I'm not sure if I could do 55 push-ups straight, to be honest. But we're going to take a break, go grab a snack and drink, come back for the second half of this game with the Warriors, hopefully going to bring home the first round of the IHSA 4A playoffs. All right, welcome back, everybody, after the break. It is 55-0. The Warriors lead as they had quite the first half, to say the least. We're getting ready for our second half of plays. It will be running clock because it is a 40-point lead. But yeah, Warriors scored all kinds of different touchdowns. They had 4 different plays and already had 14 points under their belt. So they had quite a fun game for the Warriors side as they're hoping to advance to round 2. It would be quite a shocker if they didn't advance to round 2 at this point, but definitely a high-scoring first half from the Wheaton Academy side.
Yeah, that's exactly what you wanted to see. We talked before the game. Could we potentially let the weather get to us? Could it be like a 21-10 game at half? No. The Warriors came out sharp on both sides of the ball. The only phase that showed a little bit of blip was the special teams, because the biggest plays from Phoenix Military have been 2 kickoff returns by Smith. But 55-0, and that is a great way to start off this first playoff game.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have a bit of a treat up here in the booth. It's none other than the one, the only, the 8th wonder of the world. Derek Johannick is back up here for more action. Derek, how are you doing tonight?
So good. I was just enjoying some time in the stands, so happy to be our little special guest here tonight.
I'm sure it was nice taking some time off in the stands. You didn't
Yes.
want to do your job up here in the booth. I'm just kidding, but it's great to have you back up here. What have you thought of the game so far? What have been some good things that the Warriors have done so far that is going to be encouraging for the moving weeks ahead?
I mean, so far it just looks like they can't do any wrong on offense. That offensive line is really setting the tone up front. So, I mean, that's a difference maker in any game, no matter who you're playing, and they've done an excellent job at that.
Yeah, this is a historic broadcast for Y Livestream. Have we ever had 3 headsets up?
I don't know
before?
about for a football game, that's for sure. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm not one to point out maybe some flaws in the game, but that is a very tan football that we're playing with right now. As that one's going to roll all the way down there to Emery Eckert, and he's flying up the left side. He's still on his feet. He's able to spin off a couple tackles and brought down around the 45-yard line. He's put together a great night tonight.
Yeah, Emery Eckert is stepping up. He's getting an opportunity out there. He's taking advantage of every bit of it. He's made splash plays on both sides of the ball on special teams.
One of the things we've seen over the course of the season is just how hard these Warriors running backs run. I mean, they attack the line head on. They go straight. They don't step side to side and waste time. It's been impressive to watch.
We were talking about Gino Spinelli early on in the live stream and how hard not only that he hits, but also how hard he can run through a couple tacklers, that's for sure. We got Nathan Downey working once again for the Warriors. This is a big-time run up the right side.
Who was that? Number 35.
That was Riston Tomic, I believe.
Riston getting some action. Nice pickup for him moving the sticks.
As that was his first rush of the game, and he did a great job there finding some open space up the right side.
Riston Tomic is 25. Number 35, I'm reading here, is E. Brooks.
First down and 10 for the Warriors from the 20-yard line.
Yeah, that's Ethan Brooks. He was a standout in their JV game last week when they played, I believe it was Aurora Christian. They had 2 JV games in 1 week.
And that was a nice run there. He was very patient. Only a freshman, and you said they had back-to-back JV games, and now he's getting some varsity playoff time. You love to see that.
Good to get the young guys some experience, especially in a situation like this. I know it's a lopsided score, but it's always good to get some experience in a big game.
Derek, we were talking earlier that the winner of this game is going to play the winner of Richmond Burton and St. Viator. Definitely an interesting matchup going on over there, as it's a 0-0 game right now in the second half.
We just got an update. It looks like Viator might have scored. They're up 7-0 in the 4th quarter.
That is big. Richmond Burton's been good for years. They've been a playoff perennial, always coming back and performing well in the playoffs.
Bit of miscommunication there, as I believe that was Cademan Bauer getting a couple yards there. Bit of a miscommunication there between Nathan Downey and Cademan Bauer. Continue on.
Yeah, St. Viator is a good football team. They're consistent, but really what happens is they play in the Catholic League, and they've got some tough competition there. But they all just kind of beat up on each other during the season, and then a few of them emerge in the playoffs, and St. Viator looks like their candidate in 4A at the moment. I know they might have. I think they have IC in 4A as well, so on multiple teams. But
Yeah.
Definitely interesting. Something that me and Mr. Smith were talking about prior to the game is that in that Chicago Catholic League is Nathan Downey under pressure now, as he's able to stay on his feet somehow, some way. He is still up and running as he's finally going to be brought down, as it looked like he just ran out of gas. But something we were talking about before the stream is that if you come out of that Chicago Catholic League with a winning record, you have potential to be a powerhouse no matter what class you are in. You saw that last year when we drew Providence in the first round, as they were only 5-4 as well, and they walked all over us in the first round. It could be the same situation as, I believe, St. Vitus, the 12 seed. If I'm not mistaken, playing the 5 seed tonight, and they're up 7-0 in a pretty intense game from what I've heard. So definitely interesting to see the teams that come out of that conference.
I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think they're a 5-4 team as well.
Yes, they are.
Just snuck their way out of that, got an at-large bid, and they're competing.
And something Coach Schweider said is that is a big team size-wise.
Because they scored in the very next play, they got the ball at the 20-yard line.
Ethan Brooks running once again took a big hit. But yeah, definitely will be an interesting matchup. So for those of you who don't know, the way the bracket works is in the first 2 rounds, you're supposed to get a home game no matter what. So if Richmond Burton would win because they're home tonight, the Warriors are the higher seed, so they would end up getting home field advantage once again. However, if St. Viator pulls out that win, then the Warriors would be on the road next week at St. Viator, which is just a very interesting way that the bracket works, considering St. Viator's a 12 seed, I believe, and we are the 4 seed. And yet we still have to go to their place and play them.
Spreading it out here for Downey. 4 wide receivers.
3rd and 13 situation as they hand it off once again. As big time hit there.
Yeah, we'll see if we're in 4-down territory.
That was Chasen Kazmerzak, the ball carrier there for the Warriors.
Probably just trying to get some guys some experience here.
Absolutely. I wouldn't be surprised if they keep running the football.
Yeah, give us some insight, Derek, as somebody who's played a lot of football. I mean, what's going through the coach's head right now as we're up 55, running clock? What are their goals for the remaining 15 minutes or so of this game?
Sure. For us, definitely getting some guys some experience. We already talked about that. It's something that you want to do in situations like this because no matter where you are in the game and what the situation is, it's valuable time. So you want to use it as well as you can to train up these young guys, get them even playoff football experience.
Nathan Downey short pass to Jake Weston. I was just about to call it as he puts on the brakes, and he's going to run up the left side, tries to find his way to a first down. Jake Weston, you could talk about this a little bit too, Derek, with you being on the field quite a bit with this team. He's a fun guy to watch. He's really shifty. He's a smaller guy, doesn't have a lot of mass behind him, but he can use his wheels to his advantage.
Definitely an all-around player. He's looked good on defense as well this year with some good plays, special teams player. He'll do what the coaches ask of him, and he's done an excellent job this year.
I believe it was me and you that were up in the booth earlier on this year, Derek, when he had a play up the left side right around the 10-yard line, put on the brakes, and set an opposition into the sidelines. Yeah, he's just a very shifty and quick on his feet player. Definitely utilizes his speed.
It'll be interesting to see.
That's a run right up the middle. Nicely done there.
Yeah, a lot
that was
of
Brendan
space.
Shields once again.
A lot of space. I mean, at this point, this game's it's practically over. So the other team, Phoenix Military, is in the same boat. It's like they're putting some guys out there. They want to stay true to what their identity has been to build into the following season and potentially see where some guys end up in the depth chart heading into the summer.
Absolutely.
Still valuable time for them, too.
Right.
With it being a 55-0 game, I'm sure they're wanting to get some guys reps that obviously this is everybody's last reps of the year. As Willie Smith staying on his feet there. Nicely done by Willie Smith. He shows off the speed once again. But once again, you're trying to get all your players out there, especially in your last game of the year when it's not really a competitive game at this point. Definitely trying to get everybody at least a couple touches with it being some of their last seasons here in high school football.
Yeah, absolutely. That's from Phoenix's perspective. And then you look at Wheaton Academy. Another motivation they have right now is to play disciplined football for the last half of the game, even though it doesn't seem like this would be that big of a deal to be diligent about playing disciplined football, but that feeds into the next week, certainly.
As Willie Smith running up the right side once again.
Yeah, we just got a score update. St. Viator now up 2 scores against Richmond Burton midway through the 4th. And if the rest of that game is any, clue to what's going to happen, I'd be shocked if Viator did not pull it out. We'll give you one more update when that score goes final. They're a little bit ahead of us, so we should know while we're still on the broadcast. It's exciting.
We might catch up to them quicker than you'd think with their running clock.
Good point.
It looks like a Big Ten football game over there.
Seriously, Iowa.
Maybe their cheerleaders are doing some push-ups on the sidelines. Never know.
Yeah.
Not too many.
Got a 3rd and 8 situation here for the Firebirds. They're going to run it once again as Big Ben DeHaan going to get some action there on the defensive side. He somehow stays on his feet, and the ball comes out, but the play was whistled dead
Let's see,
before.
waiting for a signal.
I believe
He just signaled Warrior football. I couldn't see because it's on the far side of the field, but that ball came out, and Maroon Jersey picked it up, and it's going to be looks like a turnover on.
Now they're calling it. They're calling it Firebirds football once again. Looks like they had to change their mind a couple times before coming to a conclusion.
Yeah, I promise I saw a point our way, but.
Got to shout out the one, the only Mr. Cozy in the chat box, giving me and Mr. Smith some love tonight. I'm sure he would have given Derek some love if he was up here with us the whole night, but shout out to Mr. Cozy as he's a bit of a sports expert himself. He's got a baseball podcast on the Chicago Cubs, and it's pretty entertaining if I do say so myself.
I'm not trying to name drop, but I'm pretty sure it's the #1 Chicago Cubs podcast.
May or may not be.
In your Apple feeds.
Definitely hoping to get him on a baseball game live stream in the spring. I won't personally be on that live stream because I'll be hopefully out there at shortstop helping the Warriors get a couple dubs in the spring, but definitely would be a fun voice to have for Wheaton Academy.
For sure.
Could get him on the White Sox as well. I know it might not be entertaining, but
You got a Southsider up here?
oh,
We got a Southsider
unfortunately,
up here? Okay.
unfortunately.
You have to wear it proudly. If you're a
do.
Southsider, you got to wear it proudly.
And you know what? I am proud of it, but right now, a little less proud of it.
Well, you
It's been-
can't be any less proud than the Chicago Cubs fans are this season, as they were they had a 10-game division lead with a month to play and decided to cough it up and give it over to the Milwaukee Brewers.
Ouch, too soon.
As nice tackle there by Deontay Giles.
Yeah. He's, again, making the most of all of his time. While we got you here, Derek, I know you might just be up here for another minute or so. What would it mean as your dad's the head coach. You've been around WA football for a long time. What would it mean next week for the Warriors to get a win in a second-round playoff game? Would that be the first in school history?
That would be the first. I believe they made it to the second round back when the program was restarting, and then obviously last year. That would be such an affirmation to what's been happening over the last few years.
Yep.
The culture shift that's been happening.
Yep.
Guys they're on board, they're invested, all in, and especially I can speak for my dad. That would mean the world to him, and I think he would speak on behalf of all the players. And that's the goal is to be better and better each year, and not to take steps back. And I think they've done that so far. So that would be such a confirmation of the work that you've been putting in to see the third round and to fight at another level that Wheaton Academy hasn't seen before.
Exactly. No, I appreciate you sharing that. And we were talking before you were up here. So much work goes into this. So many film sessions. So many weight room sessions in the summer when the campus is empty. It's not just a few practices each week. So much goes into it.
That throw is going to be over everybody. Derek, another thing that I got to ask you with you being on the field with this team so much, two things in particular. One, don't you think if the score holds true and Viator comes out on top and if the Warriors can somehow sneak out a win against them next week, I feel like if they could beat St. Viator, they could almost beat anybody else in this 4A class. St. Viator is a very big team.
Absolutely. I think the challenge is going to be IC. Whenever we see them, whenever the Warriors come across them in the bracket, I don't know what the matchup against St. Viator is going to look like next week. Looks like it could be a defensive battle based on the way this game went tonight between Richmond Burton and Viator.
Do you know Richmond Burton's style? They're a run-heavy team? Or
Yes, they are.
So
And most of those.
We're very different, right? Than that.
We are.
We're more of a balanced attack.
Yes. We try to spread the field out.
Yeah.
That's something that they try to stick to as an identity. But, you pound the ball up the middle when you can, and obviously they've been able to tonight. But for the most part, they try to stick to that spread identity. See if you can test the perimeter, and you'll see they take shots every now and then too. It's a fun style of football, and it's not usual at the high school level. But with a talented quarterback like Casper, it's something that works.
If we would perhaps run into IC at some point in our playoff run, what would our strategy be in your mind when you take on a big team like that, who's not only physical but can run the ball but also can throw the ball when they need?
IC has so much talent on their sideline, and they've got depth. It was something we came across, when I was playing at Wheaton Academy. It was
in their conference,
It was difficult because we had smaller numbers on the sideline, a smaller group of starters, a smaller group of guys that could go in realistically, and IC was subbing in defensive linemen. And so they had fresh legs throughout the whole game.
A factory.
It is. It's tough.
As Willie Smith with a nice couple of moves there, get a couple of yards gain.
But top to bottom, I really like this Wheaton Academy roster. I think we've got guys coming in with 4 running backs rotating that
4
all
receivers
can absolutely
who all can be a threat.
A lot of talent that's being utilized in the right ways. And if there's a year to make a run, I would say this is it.
And especially with the offensive player of the conference, Brett Casper, at the helm for this team, in a sense. He really does a great job at when there's nothing there for him to work with on the passing side or the running side. He somehow finds a way, whether that's rolling out and throwing on the run or taking the run up himself. But the Warriors do a great job, I feel like, when the other team shuts them down, they find a way somehow, some way. They've used a jet sweep multiple times with Gina Spinelli. They just find ways on the offensive side of the ball, and I feel like against a team like St. Viator, who's a defensive powerhouse, or maybe an IC who can play defensively as well, the Warriors are just going to have to really dig deep and be creative with their offensive strategies.
Absolutely, and stick to your identity as well. Like they've been working on this stuff all year. Being a spread offense is something they're used to, and they're going to do that in the face of any defense that they see.
Danny Garcia just stood in the way of that big 240-pound running back. Took him to the turf. I'll say he got the job done.
Is Willie Smith going to try to run this one himself?
Willie Smith
Carson
has
Miller
really been impressive tonight.
Has nice job by Haven Bauer pushing him out of bounds. Carson Miller just couldn't quite keep up to him, as Willie Smith, he's got some wheels behind him. Once he gets going, he's hard to stop.
Yeah, that's a name to remember. I think that's something to build on for the Firebirds. I mean, he had those 2 big kick returns. He had one of the best throws of the night for the Firebirds that was just barely missed on the perimeter that would have gone for a score. He's making things happen for him in a tough environment.
And he's a junior, so they have him next year
Another
too.
year to develop him.
And we also saw him throw the ball downfield, so potential candidate for quarterback for them next year. As he takes the snap once again. Wow, big time hit there. I believe that was Dallas Johnston.
I don't know if you saw closely on that pass back in the first half.
The one that was dropped?
The one that was dropped. Yeah. He had a little Tim Tebow jump pass action going, and I'm impressed that he had that much behind it. It looked like he just
went
flicked
about 30
the ball.
yards in the air.
It was an impressive throw. On the money.
I got to admit, I have my eyes on the receiver, but knowing that he jumped to let it go, hey.
Derek, I'm hoping you saw that huge hit by Emery Eckert on the special teams play. We were laughing about that up here in the booth. Something about him is that he hits really hard, and he's also the first one downfield on the kickoff for the Warriors every time.
Absolutely. He's been a fun one to watch. And, seeing him at running back as well, he brings that physical style when he runs. It's good to see a guy with his size. You would think he's a shifty, back and forth kind of running back and a defensive player, but he'll plow through you.
Oh, as that ball is dropped and tried to pick up and then kicked it downfield. And now it is picked up. And the Warriors might take this one to the end zone as Jack Roth is going to score a touchdown for the Warriors, and the bench erupts.
Jack Roth, a machine, scooping it off the deck and taking it to the house.
And what an absolute turn of events is Jack Roth put on turbo speed. He kicked in the afterburners and took that one to the crib. My goodness. Jack Roth having some fun.
If you've ever been to a wild lacrosse game and you've seen how fast Jack Roth sprints off the field after faceoffs, you knew he had the speed in his bag, and there it was on full display.
As I said earlier up here in the booth, been a lot of firsts this year. Can't say I've seen Jack Roth pick up a 50-yard touchdown off of a kick by his other player off of a fumble.
And good awareness to be there to make the play, too.
And nice hands. Put him on the hands team.
Absolutely.
Put him on the hands team.
It actually is very difficult to pick up a fumble that's bouncing like that.
On a wet
Especially,
ground?
it's wet.
Exactly.
Conditions are not right to pick up fumbles, but there goes Jack.
It's up and it's good. We did see something we didn't expect to see tonight. Ethan Head missed an extra point. What, did you have a better angle? Or
I did not get a close look at it. You know, when it goes off to the left like that, you always wonder if it's a hold issue. You know, sometimes if the laces are a little bit off, that could be enough to throw off the kicker.
It's been cool to follow his journey, getting so much recognition his first year out there.
Right.
That happened in his first kick, too. He kind of turned over itself as it flew legitimately right through the uprights at a very high speed, but definitely not something you see from Ethan Head. Usually when he misses right. He kind of pulled off 2 kicks tonight. Would be interesting to see when I get to talk to him after the game what his reasoning behind it was.
Right. And, you know, sometimes when it rains a little bit, the field operates a little bit like the roads. You know how they say the roads are a lot more slippery when the rain just starts? It's kind of that way, too. The ball is really slick before it absorbs some of that water. Yeah, and it's oily. So anything can go wrong on that kick team unit. That's not easy to pull off.
What year did you graduate from WA again, Derek? Remind me.
2019.
2019.
So you were here for the old logo.
Yes, I never saw the new logo. I was actually I was able to be on this little committee where they
check out Willie Smith taking off upfield as Deontay Childs being drug on the ground upfield like a sled, but able to bring him down.
I'm more impressed with Ethan Head kind of laying out of the way on that one to make sure he didn't get clipped.
So he had a big hit earlier on in this game on one of the returns.
A big hit. I'll say he had a solid hit. He had a solid hit.
For Ethan Head, he had a big hit.
For sure. But
that might be his first tackle, not only in this game, but also in his entire life.
So Ethan Head. First tackle ever, except for cone drill and practice.
He might need to get the football after the game for that one.
There's only one way to go now.
Yeah.
Play defense.
For real. But 2019, for those who are fans of Wheaton Academy or ex-students, alums, they might understand what the performance is called in the spring, called Mr. Wah. And you might know where I'm going with this, but your performance was one of my favorites of all time. Ladies and gentlemen, Derek Johannick, football player, defensive nose tackle and center, sang a love song and played the piano to the Wheaton Academy weight room. Did you visit the weight room recently to just give it a nod, or are you staying away?
I try to make my way in whenever I can.
Okay, just making sure you haven't forgotten about her. She's right over there.
You're gracious to say that it was good because you don't have to say that just because I'm here.
It was good.
And 2, my heavy lifting days are behind me, and I have never felt better.
You know, Derek, I wasn't around at that time. If you would happen to give us a sample here tonight, I would be greatly appreciated because I was not in the audience.
I'm going to respectfully decline.
Oh, and the ball's out once again. And now it is Charlie Canaris who's going to take it to the end zone and make it a 68-0 game.
That was clearly a backward pass. It was a fumble.
That stings. You can see some players getting frustrated at this point as, again, like we said, some of these guys have never scored touchdowns before in their life.
Right.
You can't let off. You just got to let the guys play, and it's just a bad break for Phoenix Military.
And you know, something that we've seen over the course of the game, Phoenix has talent on their side of the ball.
Yep.
It's a matter of getting them organized and kind of bought into an offensive game plan or a defensive game plan, whatever it is. But you get all these guys in line, and all of a sudden, this could be a tough football team. And, you know, we'll give it to them as well. They're in the playoffs. That is an accomplishment in itself.
Yes, and we did mention that before
Absolutely.
You were here. I mean, the score, obviously, it's a bummer to end, but at the same time, it can be a stepping stone, right?
Right.
Well, Wheaton Academy football has been in a similar position.
I was just going to say.
That football was dropped and recovered by Phoenix there. Ladies and gentlemen, we do have a final score of the St. Viator game. That game has ended 14-0. So if the Warriors would go on to win this game, they would have a little road trip next week at St. Viator. And And I would personally say it's safe to assume with under 3 minutes left in a 68-point lead that the Warriors are going to be on the road at St. Viator next week.
They have some insurance points
Safe
here.
to say.
Safe to say.
The win probability is
You're a big stats guy.
on
You might have to
on
calculate
the
that one.
ESPN app. No need. It's 99.999.
I think they're generous about
You
giving
don't
out
even
those
need to put that one
99s.
into our studio. It's already 99.9.
It's already there.
I've seen too many articles after games, like comeback wins, and they're like, oh, they came back from a 99.9%
Right.
win probability
ESPN's
and won
generous.
I feel like in a 68-0 lead with 2 minutes on the clock, there's no way that's not 100% because I don't think you could run it upfield.
it. I don't think
For
it's-
69 points.
Not with a running clock. Yeah, this is 100%. I think it's officially you cannot score 10 touchdowns in 2 minutes.
I don't
they
feel like
couldn't.
that's possible.
They couldn't even score 28 to get it within the
Yeah.
or 29
to stop the clock.
to
You're
stop
right.
the clock.
Appreciate you coming up here and
Oh,
just. I mean,
thanks
it went
for
by
inviting
really
me.
fast.
It did.
We were just wanting to help us to get some context going into next week. So
Holy cow, that ball was sent to the back of the end zone. My gosh. Ethan Head,
he did not want to give Smith another chance to return. He
For
said
sure.
not today.
for sure. That was majorly impressive there by Ethan Head.
Maybe some pent up aggression from the extra point mishap
been.
there.
Definitely.
Could have
Or
been.
that missed tackle that he just had.
Oh, anything.
But yeah, that'll be sad that we won't be on the cast next week.
That is tough.
But we're expecting a WA victory and then potentially could host a third game, which would be legendary. So
And how exciting would that be to see a top-notch opponent come over here?
Would be
and-
huge.
Oh, it would be such a big night.
What's awesome, though, about possibly the chance of the Warriors winning next week, then we would possibly get a third week home game because we've only played one home game up to that point, and we do have a pretty high seed in this playoff.
you're right. You are right.
And then potentially would be on the mic for that game again.
Yeah, I'm looking down at the WA sideline. I see, I think that was Tip who was maybe dancing a little bit, or is that Maldonado? Is that Carlos? I think it's good spirits down there. I'm hoping, knock on wood, that we stayed injury-free tonight. I haven't seen anything. It's always good when you can, put 70 points on the board and walk away clean. We're hoping Hubricks gets some good report back from him. We'll hear
Yeah, I was just
that.
about to ask, Derek, with you being alongside, maybe you would know what the situation with John Hubricks is in the moving weeks and maybe us getting him back sooner rather than later.
I know he's been dealing with a lot. I don't know too many details, and for scouting reasons, probably shouldn't share too much. But I don't think it's serious enough to take him out for the rest of the year. So we can definitely hope to see him on the field next week because he is a force.
Yeah, for sure.
And definitely a big part of our line there on both sides of the
Both
ball.
sides.
He does a great job and works really, really hard. As the clock is going to bleed down to a minute and some change. As Phoenix forcing it up a little bit, trying to get a couple plays off here at the end of the game.
Hey, screen pass left side.
Wow. Look at that play call right there by Mr. Smith. My goodness, almost like he read the formation like a book.
Yeah. Like you said, Derek, it's just like sometimes it just feels like it's a little too predictable. It's
Yes.
like we just need to find some variety. But it's still fun to look at. We do have the best view in the house up here.
Oh, 100%.
It looks different when you're down there on the
Yes,
field.
it does.
Mr. Smith, to your point earlier, not only is it good spirits on the sidelines, it's definitely good spirits in the fan section to our right, as I've seen 3 kids in a row take an absolute running start at the grass hill and barrel send that as far as they can.
When you're 7 years old and there's some wet grass near you and you can do an epic slide in your...
Oh my goodness, what a grab by Willie Smith.
I'm telling you, Willie Smith is everywhere. Where is he lining up? Just find number 7. He's had an incredible game.
Timeout called there.
Oh, they're going to try
by
to throw a Hail
Phoenix.
Mary to Willie Smith right here to finish the game.
Try and get some points on the board.
100%.
Well, I was going to say, here as we close, and I'll let you guys close it out officially, but Wheaton Academy's done well in the second half, and I know it was kind of a sleeper of a half and easy to stop paying attention, but what Wheaton Academy has done well is played disciplined football like we were talking about. This is going to feed into next week. They're going to go in with some momentum. Coach Smith, like you were saying, some good vibes on the sideline,
Yeah.
and that certainly carries on into the work week. and then hopefully they can bring that energy, that juice onto the field next Friday against St. Vital.
I agree, and what I love is that because my classroom's in the field house where the football team has a lot of their film sessions, they're not going to do anything special this week. They've prepared every single week like it is the state championship game. So their approach will stay constant, which I respect, and we're going to be prepared. We're going to be locked in, and it's just a matter of who we line up against on Friday.
For sure. As Willie Smith is going to take the snap. He's running it up the right side. He's going to let it sling all the way downfield, and it's going to be picked off by Jack Roth, and that will be the last play of the game. The Warriors will take this one 68-0. A fun game up here. Derek, thanks for coming up for the second half. It's been fun having you.
Thanks so much for the invite. It felt like a little Monday Night Football guest speaker kind of.
Yes, sir.
It was fun. I enjoyed this.
Jacob, I had a blast being up here. Hoping we can be back in a couple weeks.
Hopefully. Maybe get all three of us up here for a round 3 playoff game.
Yes, but since there's no stream next week, if you're watching at home right now, make sure you make the trip to Viator. The kids feed off your energy. It'll be a great atmosphere, high school football playoffs next week, but a great showing here for the Warriors.
And there's no better way to watch football than sitting in. So we had a great time up there. Thank you guys for tuning in.